Good day, everybody. It's Michael Rivers here from jurisq.com with divorce attorney Marina Shepelsky. Marina, last time we had you on, we talked about having a business with your spouse, how you should have your own attorney review the documents, and you can review this video on jurisq.com. Now I want to ask you a follow-up question. What if your spouse has a separate business from you, and that business is a cash business, or it's making some cash that is not being declared? How is that going to affect your future or current divorce in terms of alimony, child support? How can you find out how much the business is making in cash, and how that would affect the divorce?
This comes up very frequently, Michael. This comes up all the time, in fact. A lot of times one or both spouses are either self-employed or own a business. Not everyone declares every dollar that they make. Some people write off more than they should, really. And when you're still married, it's all, okay, I guess. I mean, it might be tax fraud, but other than that, it's okay. But if things go south and things get really sour between the parties, let's say the wife wants a divorce, and it turns out that the husband makes $13,000 on paper. On tax returns, a thriving dental office is making, for example, I'm just giving you one example, a dentist with a thriving dental office on paper ends up showing personal income of only $13,000 a year, where in reality, they drive a BMW, they have a Poconos home, they have a luxury condo somewhere overlooking water, and so on and so forth. So what happens if one spouse is hiding their actual real income, gets cash, and so on? Well, in that case, we really go into a deep accounting. That's what we do. And what happens is the judge will tell both sides that if you cannot come up with a number, we will make up a number for you, and we're going to have to stick with that number, because if you don't tell the court how much you make, they're going to just do their best, appointing an appraiser, they're going to appoint a referee, they will do the counting for you. But how do we figure out how much the person makes when we need a realistic number? It's never going to be accurate, because realistically, a lot of people don't really know how much they actually make. We look at expenses. We look at the travel. Like, for example, somebody all the things I mentioned, they have a luxury vehicle, they have a luxury condo, they travel and stay at the Regis or, the Plaza.
The judge will make an inference from their lifestyle. As to how much really
exactly. We look at the lifestyle, we look at how much everything costs, we divide it by, 12, and we figure out what the monthly income actually is. And sometimes people use business income for personal needs, but that's still income. So even if you pay yourself a W-2 salary of only like $13,000 a year, you're basically hiding business income. And the court will what's called infer it back to you. Like, they will assume that's what you're making if you don't do it yourself. A lot of times what people do is they realize that they don't want to go down for tax fraud, because judges always threaten that if you don't give me a number, I will report you both to the IRS for tax fraud. I had Judge Domenico in Staten Island tell my client when she was arguing, well, her husband lied on his tax return. She said, ma'am, you signed it. You were on it too. I can report both of you because you signed a joint married tax return with information. You're now trying to give me evidence of tax fraud. So let's play, the judge said, let's play this game. I will absolutely, as the member of the bar and as a judge, report you both. So what do we do when we don't want them reported? Me and the other attorney, right, we settle, but how do we settle? Again, the lawyers, we can't pull a number out of thin air and just make up a number. We look at the expenses, we look at tax returns, and we look at bank statements. We look at bank statements, we look at credit card statements, we look at how much they spend to figure out how much they make. We use that number to calculate child support and alimony. So that's how we end up settling it. It's a very intricate, very tedious step-by-step job, but we usually get, by the way, we usually get an accountant involved, because I didn't go to law school to be, an accountant.
Yeah.
We get a forensic accountant. I have my own. The other side might get their own. We put this all together, and our accountant gives us like a presentation. They say, okay, we looked at the bank statements. We analyzed this. We analyzed that. We think we can infer that the husband makes $75,000 a year. Or we tell the husband, tell us a number that you think she will agree with. Sometimes people know. They just don't want to tell you, but they know. So that's how we work out that.
In the same vein, then, if somebody, let's say, has a degree as an accountant, doctor, attorney, what have you, and they think they're slick, and during divorce, they stop working, not to pay child support or alimony, what have you. It seems like the same principles would apply where a judge could infer based on their profession, based on their degrees, how much money they should be making. Is that
That's true too, but they don't look necessarily at how much the person makes during the divorce. They look, let's say we file for divorce June 1st, 2020, for example. The judge will want tax returns for 2019, 18, and 17. Not 2020, because that's the year we filed for divorce. The other 3 years. And they look at bank statements for like 3 to 5 years. And they look at credit card statements for 3 to 5 years. Because people, to prepare for divorce, sometimes begin to, embezzle assets of the marriage. Like they'll hide it, or they'll start to pretend like they can't work or whatever. It's not just, you're right, they can infer. When somebody was like a busy lawyer during the marriage and all of a sudden they stop working, they can infer that income. But how do we know how much the person is capable of making? They look at the last 3 tax returns. And listen, people get sick. So if somebody has a letter that they filed for disability or were approved for disability, of course, the income that they had during the marriage will not be inferred. And, there's circumstances, things happen, right? We had, oh my God, I have the funniest story. We had a guy come to see me a couple of weeks ago. I didn't take him as a client because he says he was from another state. He is from the state of Connecticut. I'm not telling you the real state or whatever. I'm just telling you the story, right? So he wasn't really from Connecticut, but let's assume he was from Connecticut. He's from another state. He had a kid, nasty divorce, orders of protection, like 9-10 years ago. And he was so nasty, my client, in that court that the judge threw him out. He had security take him out, and they ended up
being nasty to a judge. Never good idea.
It's so bad. And he kept saying everything you say is a lie and things like that, and nobody ever likes. This is why you should have your own lawyer. He didn't have a lawyer, by the way. When you don't have an attorney and you screaming out crazy things in court, nobody's going to listen to you, even if some things you're saying are right or fair.
You have your own client. You are your own client, and you're a fool for a client.
And he's not an attorney. He was just, a gentleman, whatever he did. So he got thrown out, he told me, and then they ended up inferring a number. They made up a number of like 50,000 income for him, and they ordered him to pay child support. Now, he tried not to pay an appeal and all this crazy stuff, but since he was present in the court, he couldn't claim that they ordered him without his participation. They just threw him out because he was acting out of control. Anyway, long story short, it's 9 or 10 years later. Now he's got huge child support, what's called arrears, like a debt. It built up to something like 70,000. And now he's remarried, and his new wife seems like a reasonable lady. She works and everything. She's trying to ask me how, first of all, they can undo the old child support. I said, you can't, because he had 10 years to undo this, make a motion, this and that, and he never did anything. And also he was present in the case, even if it seems unfair to you, but also to lower your income tax, your child support now. They want to lower it right now. And he says to me, are you ready? He says, I'm illegal, so I cannot work. My income is 0. What? I said, when you say things like that, this is when you get thrown out of the courtroom.
Of course.
I said, look, I'm telling you, the argument that you're a deadbeat father because you're illegal and you cannot work, especially guys, I do immigration law too, right? I talk to immigrants who are getting divorced every day. So people find jobs. If you're an Uber driver, that's income. if you clean houses, if you wash dishes, if you're in construction, you're making money. You're somehow eating and supporting yourself. He didn't look like he was starving or homeless. He was well groomed. He came with his wife. I said, in a situation like this, the judge is going to continue to use the number that the Connecticut judge already picked out of thin air for
That's a
you.
great example where you have to have your own attorney when you go to court. You have to discuss strategy before and have your attorney speak for you in court instead of opening your own mouth.
Right, and stupid arguments like I'm illegal, so I cannot work. That's why I'm not able to pay child support now. My income is zero. It's just not going to work. Make up a number. I told
You're
her.
always giving us
said, "Look."
very useful advice and very interesting. You always have interesting insights from your practice, from your experience. We appreciate it, and we're gonna catch you next time with more questions. For now, please follow us on jurisq.com. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook or Instagram, please follow us, please like us, and you're gonna continue getting very useful advice in divorce and other areas of law. Marina, thank you very much. Have a great
Thank you. And if you are interested in your lawyer telling you the truth and the reality, come to us, give us a call.
Exactly. The number is on the bottom of the screen. Thank you.